Sales is the most lucrative skill in the world, period. The problem is most sales advice out there today is outdated, cheesy, and could even keep you from the deals that can make all the difference in your career. This is the No BS Sales School, a podcast for entrepreneurs and salespeople who want to master the skill of selling without all the BS. Welcome to the No BS Sales School podcast. I'm your host, Walker McKay. Today, I want to talk about something. I hear about this all the time. People are like, I got ghosted, or he ghosted me, or he didn't show up, or nobody called me back. I got ghosted. Well, let's talk about what ghosting is and why it's your fault and what you can do about it. So we often get ghosted, right? When we are talk to somebody, we have them on the phone, or maybe we've met with them, maybe we give them information, right? Give them a proposal. And then they don't call us back. They don't respond to our calls. They don't respond to our emails. Understand, this is part of the buyer's process. All right, so step one of the buyer's process, is some version of they ask about price. How much does it cost, right? So if you get past gate number one, we go to step number two, which is they invite you in and ask you all kinds of questions, get all kinds of information for you. They act interested. They say, tell me about your product. How would it help? What about this? What about that? And when we get to that stage, like, hell yeah, I've got a relationship. And so we share all of our information with the prospect just to show them how smart we are and that we understand and that we know all about our product. And then the third step is they say, hey, do you mind putting that in writing? Would that be, so I can, you've said a lot of things. Let's get all this in writing so I can make sure I fully understand. And which we're like, hell yes, I got one. This is terrific. They love me. I'm going to make a sale. And so we go do all this work, and maybe a proposal takes 2 seconds in your world. Maybe some people it takes like days or weeks to put together a proposal, but then you give it to them. And what you hear is, this looks really good. This looks terrific. Thank you so much for doing this. Man, apples to apples, all things being equal, can't see a reason we wouldn't give you guys a good shot. However, I need to run this by my partner, or I got to take this to the board, or I need to sleep on this. But don't worry, my partner always does what I says, or don't worry, but I feel really good about this, or blah, 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 blah. Step one, ask about price. Step two, when they're inviting you in and getting all this information, we call that get free consulting, right? They're getting free consulting from you about their specific problem. Step number three is say nice things and get rid of you. This is what we call in the sales world, we get ghosted. And guess what? It's our fault, right? That they're not calling us back. So what do you do about this getting ghosted thing, right? Because it sucks. Nobody wants to be ghosted. Well, first of all, when you go on a sales call, your job is not to educate your prospect. It is not to educate your prospect. There should be education going on. There definitely should be some learning, but it's you learning. You learning about them and their problems, not them learning about your solution. Nobody gives a shit about your solution. Your solution is worthless until they have a problem, right? Nobody gives a shit about your solution until they have a problem. And that problem is personal, right? And there's a gap between where they are and where they want to be. And it's personal. It's compelling. That's what you need to learn in a sales call. You need to be educated. You shouldn't be educating them. And, right, when you have your information, when you've created your proposal, you have what they want, that's your point of highest leverage. Don't forget about leverage in the sales cycle. If you vomit all your information everywhere, if you throw out proposals like into the wind, you're giving away your leverage. You got nothing. As soon as they have your information, they owe you nothing. You've got no leverage left. So your first leverage point is to get your prospects information, not just data, not just their situation, but what are their opinions about their current situation? And what's the gap between where they are and where they want to be? That's where the magic is, the gap, the personal compelling gap between where they are and where they want to be. Once you know that and create a proposal just to fix that, now you pick up the phone and you call them before you give them the proposal and say, hey, I'm putting this thing together. I'm about finished. The numbers are coming in somewhere between here and here. Am I even in the ballpark? Before you send the proposal, let them know, hey, the numbers are coming in somewhere between here and here. Let's pretend you think it's going to be, you think that the number's $20,000. Okay, great. I want you to tell them, coming between $20,000 and $25,000. Am I even in the ballpark? Get a reaction there. I want no surprises. I want no surprises at all when they get a proposal, right? So I want to wait and hear what they say. If they say, oh my God, that's crazy, you say, okay, is it over? Because by the way, if they already hate your price, if they can't or won't pay your price, any reason to send the proposal over? The answer is no. So the other things, let's say, well, I guess more than one spend, but I guess that's in the ballpark and it's where it needs to be, blah, blah, blah. Then you say, okay, let's do this. I'm going to send this proposal over. Let me hit the high points here before I send it. But I'm going to send it over. Let's pretend you see it. You look at it. You play around with it, you show it to your partner, you like what you see. What do you see happening next? What do you see happening next? They might say, well, my partner's out of town till Friday. You say, good, that gives me a little bit of time to kind of put the final touches on it. Why don't I send it over Thursday? You look at it. And if there's something there that catches you off guard, there's something you don't like, you call me Friday. How about that? However, if it is what you want, how about let me know that? And then I'll assume if I don't hear back from you, if I say Monday afternoon, I'll assume that either you or your partner didn't like it. And we'll just call it a no. Is that okay with you? See, being ghosted is when you've lost control. You have to understand there is a moment there. There's a long time when you should, or when you do, if you're doing it right, you do have control. You do have leverage. But once you give that shit away, once you give your information away, you have no leverage left. So anything you want to get, you need to get that before you give your proposal away. Hey, look, if I'm okay giving this information by Friday, will you be okay? When do you think you'd be able to make a decision? Well, by Tuesday. Okay, great. I'll do this then. If I haven't heard from you, say by Tuesday afternoon at 5 o'clock, I'll assume it's a no. Is that okay with you? Oh, no. I'll call you. Sure, I'll call you. Absolutely. This is like after you've had a date, right? That spends the night. Oh, I'm certainly going to call you. And they never do. Just say, look, if I hadn't heard from you by Tuesday, I'll just assume it's a no. And you're saying to yourself now, I'm sure you're going, oh, Walker, what if I turn them down? What if it is a yes? You just can't tell me yet. Just set a deadline. Maybe say, okay, if I hadn't heard from you by Wednesday, I'll just call it a no. And if Wednesday comes and goes, they're not there, at least you know. So then what do? Walker, what do I do though? What do I do? Well, here's what you do. If your deadline was, say, Wednesday, you hadn't heard from them, maybe you call Thursday afternoon and say, hey, John, never heard from you. I'm assuming you've gone a different direction. No big deal. I'll close your file. I hope our paths cross again soon. Oh, Walker, I don't want to close their file. No, what if they want to do business with me? I don't want to be an asshole about it. Look, dude, closing the file is an offer. It's not a threat. What you're doing is you're offering not to bug them anymore. By the way, if they want to do business with you, they'll call you back. They'll call you back. Act like you don't need the business. Honestly, don't even act like it. Don't need the business. The more you need it, the less likely you are to close the business. Desperation comes through the phone, comes through your text. It shines through the video. If you're desperate, your chances of closing a sale drop. Now I realize, but Walker, what if I am desperate? Okay, well, that sucks. Work on your pipeline. This deal is not the problem. It's your pipeline that's the problem. Work on that. I know it's simple, but it's not easy. But that's the most important thing you can do to increase the value of yourself and of you to your company is work on your pipeline. Don't put up with long freaking sales cycles. Tell people, hey, if I hadn't heard from you by X date, I'll assume it's a no. And then the next day, call them and close the file. Half Maybe a third will call you back and say, no, please don't close my file. At which point you say, okay, tell me why. Keep control, keep leverage, hold your information, gather information, don't give it. Before you give information away, find out what happens next. I'm Walker McKay with No BS Sales. Getting ghosted, it's your fault. Fix it. Thanks for listening to the No BS Sales School podcast. If you're struggling to close deals, then I want to invite you to take my free mini course, where you'll learn the 7 most expensive sales mistakes that will cost you time, money, and credibility. So be sure to click the link in the show notes or go to www.7salesmistakes.com. That's the number 7salesmistakes.com. Thanks again for listening to the No BS Sales School podcast.